Hi, I'm Gary White with Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Lizzie Spalding at the Marion County Extension Office. And today we're going to make corn salad.
Yes, fresh corn salad.
Well, I can see we have a lot of corn.
Right. I know it's the end of August, but a lot of people still have some corn hanging around at the house. So
when is corn season?
July, August. So
Okay.
people have probably already gotten an abundance of corn. It's kind of starting to dwindle a little, but I know we still have quite a bit at my house. So I really like this recipe. Something different to do with corn. A lot of people, you know, it's one of those other vegetables you have a lot of, and sometimes you eat so much of it whenever it's in season and you have it, you're not really sure what to do with it because you're like, well, I've boiled it, I've grilled it, I've done this with it. I don't want it anymore. So this is just a simple recipe, something different to do with it.
Okay.
And it's got very few ingredients. It takes 5 ears of fresh corn, a half a cup of diced red onion, 3 tablespoons of cider vinegar, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, a half teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of pepper, and then a half a cup of fresh chopped basil. So
That's easy.
not a whole lot of ingredients and not really a whole lot to do with it.
Any particular kind of corn?
You can use whatever kind of variety you've grown at your house,
Okay.
whatever they have at the farmer's market, or whatever you pick up at the grocery store.
Okay.
Also,
It's very versatile.
right, this is a plated up Kentucky Proud recipe, so we're trying to promote fresh produce and for you to purchase that at the farmer's market or to grow it yourself. But
And I'll mention that we were supposed to do this at the farmer's market this month, and I didn't have my calendar, so we kind of missed that. But next month, hopefully, we'll be at the farmer's market.
We're here now. So.
Yes, but you can get this at the farmer's market, for instance, in Marion County, Washington County, or Nelson County. Some corn, maybe some basil as well.
Mm-hmm. They have had
And
basil.
onions. Cool. So you can support our local farmers.
Exactly. But I will say, if you don't have that on hand, you could substitute with frozen corn. But to me, you can do that, but it just does not taste the same. It doesn't taste the same at all. So
Okay, so fresh is best.
tastes much better with fresh corn, which, you know, we all know that fresh produce is always tastes better, but corn is one of those, I think especially, that fresh corn just blows frozen corn out of the water. There's no comparison.
Now I can see in here you have your ears. Did you just like take it off the ears with the knife?
We're gonna
Okay, we're going to show.
We're going to show how to do that. I will say there are some steps to this recipe that I have already done before we started filming, just because it's a little bit of a process. You do need to shuck and silk your corn, obviously. You can do that by hand silking it, or you can use one of these little handy brushes. You can get lots of variations of these. Just use that to brush those silks off. Honestly, I think my hands work just as well as this, but it's whatever you like. And then you boil the 5 ears of corn in water for 4 minutes. So you're going to cook that. Then when you get it out, you're going to submerge it in ice cold water just to cool it down. Then you're going to cut it off. So I have already cut off 4 of the ears, and we have our 5th one here. So
Okay, great.
And to cut that off, all you're going to do is take your knife and you're going to go down the corn.
Okay.
So, and then it comes off. I don't think I have the best knife here, but it usually comes off fairly easy. You do want to make sure that you are not cutting into the cob, because that will leave hard pieces on your corn, and you don't want those in there. But when you're cutting, you can tell when you're getting into the cob, because it gets harder to cut.
We don't want to eat the cob.
No, and this, like I said, it comes off really easy. You're just going to cut down the side of it and cut that off.
I think there was a YouTube video of the what they call it in the country version of this, I think. And what they did was they attached a drill to the end of it, and they had a little knife and they just pushed it through, and it made it come all off into a bucket. It was really kind of cool.
That sounds dangerous.
I know.
I'm not sure about that, Gary. I'm a little apprehensive about it.
We're not saying to do that.
Then you're just going to put that in there. Put that in our bowl, the rest of our corn that we have cut off. Put that in our trash over here.
Mm-hmm.
And I am actually, now that we have that all cut off, I'm going to transfer it into this big bowl so we can mix it all together. And once that's cut, as you can see, those are coming off kind of in clumps. So what I do is just take my fingers and break those apart.
Okay.
Or you could do it with this fork, spoon, what have you. Just where you cut it off, they come off in kind of big pieces. So you're going to want to break that up some whenever you put it in the bowl.
So this is 5 ears now.
This is 5 ears. Mm-hmm. So this recipe makes quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And do you just scoop it up and eat it, or is it something like a chip, or?
You just scoop it and eat it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, you could eat it with a chip if you wanted to, but
That sounds
I
pretty
just
good.
scoop it and eat it. And whenever you're mixing this around like this, you're going to want to make sure and check for any silks you may have left on there, or small pieces that you didn't get whenever you were shucking it. Usually those come out, you get most of those beforehand, they come out when you boil it, but you can double check for that. Okay. And the next thing that we're going to do is add our red onion to that. So I already have it diced, and we're going to add a 1/2 cup of that. And the red onion does have a little bit of a different flavor as opposed to your white onion. I think it's a little bit stronger, but I would say the main basis for them using that in this recipe is just the color, because you've got all that yellow, then you're going to put in that 1/2 cup of that. It just gives it a nice color when you mix that in.
Okay.
If you had that white onion in there, it wouldn't be as pretty. It wouldn't show up as well.
That's true. Got some variety here.
Right.
Again, this is the fresh corn salad, and you can get a copy of this recipe from the Extension Office here in Marion County, also in Washington County and Nelson County. And it is the Plate 'em Up recipes, right?
Yes, the plated up recipes. And you can also get those at KentuckyProud.com. They have them online there. So.
Super duper.
After you get that mixed together, you're going to mix together your dressing. So we're going to take our olive oil. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of it.
You know, at the Family Fields Eye Market, which is in Springfield, right on Lebanon Hill over in Springfield, and it has farmers market items that's a store.
I was actually just there last week, Gary.
Okay, super. They have Kentucky olive oil. So you can actually get some,
see that.
Well, it's California olives that were pressed and made in Kentucky. So you can get some, you can even get olive oil made locally, so that's pretty cool. So you can find almost everything local at some point.
We're going to put in 3 tablespoons of our cider vinegar. Yeah, if you've never been into any of those local or Kentucky Proud shops, you really should go visit those, because they have some really cool stuff in there. Like I said, I've been in that one, but just one throughout the state that you go into, it always amazes me at what all you can find in there that's made locally.
There are some crafty and creative people in our communities.
There sure are.
And they're going to be serving lunch in the near future as well there with Kentucky Proud products, so something to look forward to in the near future.
I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in here. Put that in there. And a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper.
Are you a vinegar fan?
I like vinegar in things, so yeah, I guess I am. If I can get our pepper open.
I like balsamic and olive oil on a salad. Do you like balsamic vinegar?
I do. We use the cider vinegar, the balsamic, and then we also use red wine vinegar a lot with the different recipes that we have in the Extension Office. Especially these plated up ones have a lot of that. They definitely give your dishes some flavor, some different flavoring.
Yeah. Somebody told me once that if you drank some of the cider vinegar, that supposedly helps with your allergies and stuff. I haven't tried it yet. I need to, because my allergies have been horrible.
A lot of people do drink that with different things now.
Have you heard that before?
I've heard all kinds of health benefits with vinegar. Vinegar is good for
Does everything, right?
all kinds of stuff, so they say. But like I said, I like vinegar in things.
Yeah.
I don't think I would personally
I did
drink
buy
it.
the vinegar. I thought, I'm going to try that, and it's like I haven't, and that's been a few years now. If you tried it, let us know, because if it works, I might do it. This season has been horrible for allergies.
I'm out, even if it works.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not drinking vinegar.
You're not drinking it.
No. We're just going to pour that on our corn and our onion. They also say local honey is good for allergies, so.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
That's something local that can give you some, provide you with some health benefits.
More tasty than vinegar.
Right. That's kind of the avenue I would venture down.
Yeah. So the ice water challenge, we'll do the vinegar and honey challenge. Maybe if you put the two together, that might not be too bad.
Oh, I don't know. I still think it sounds really bad. I still think it sounds bad. Okay, so we've got those out of the way. Piling stuff up on my cutting board. I need that. And the last thing that you're going to do after you toss those, the best thing to do with this dish is to actually refrigerate this and let it chill. Kind of just gets all those flavors in there mixed up together. And it's good cold. It's a good cold dish.
Yeah.
That's why it's good for summer too. So if you have any picnics or you're grilling out with the family or anything like that coming up, this is a good dish.
For Labor Day, it might be perfect.
It would.
As you're ending the corn season, it might be nice to have something different. Yeah.
You try it out with the family and see if they like it. But once you get it out, and actually we're going to do this now since we don't have time to refrigerate it, we are going to chop up some fresh basil and put on there, which is what you would do when you got it out of the refrigerator right before you served it. Put that fresh basil on there. And like Gary said before, this is something that you can find at the farmer's market or something that you may grow at your house. A lot of people have window gardens and herb gardens, and then they also have these in their garden outside.
So with basil, you never eat the stalk, right? It's always the leaf.
The leaves.
Right.
And you could use dried basil with this recipe. You use a third dried to the fresh amount. So if you are going to substitute, do not put a half a cup of dried basil in here. It will be very overpowering.
So I guess the dried is more concentrated then.
You kind of just bunch those leaves together and slice those.
Basil has a nice flavor to it.
You smell that already? It's like as soon as I start tearing it off, you can smell it. That's one of the reasons I like to use fresh herbs instead of dried, is just because the flavor is so much
Absolutely.
Nicer.
I was somewhere and they had this past weekend, and they had fresh rosemary that they were growing. And then somebody was just like squeezing some of it, and you could smell it in their fingers and stuff.
My fingers would definitely smell like basil after this, but that's okay.
That's good.
It's an all right smell. I'll take it.
And this is something too that you could grow if you want to try some different herbs. You can talk to your extension office agents, and they can help you figure out what ones might be best for you in the area. And we have some horticultural agents in Washington and Nelson County too. And Dennis Morganson, the one in Washington County, actually lives here in Marion County, so he can help you out there too, figuring out which ones would be best to plant. Are there different varieties of basil, do you know?
You know, I am not sure, but that would be
That'd
an
be a good
excellent
Dennis
question for
question.
Dennis. So Dennis, if you're watching.
Exactly. You can answer that for us.
That chopped up, we got a little bit more to go, and then we'll toss that over our corn salad.
Now, did you get this from the farmer's market?
I did not. I actually got this from the grocery store, but
That's nice.
they
Basil.
did have basil. They were selling it down there. I'm not sure if they still have any or not, but they had that, and they had rosemary, I believe.
What's your favorite herb? Do you have one?
I'm trying to think. That's probably oregano, because I like Italian, and that's good.
Okay.
So that would be my pick.
That'd be good.
So got that chopped up, and I'm just gonna dump that in here, and then we're gonna mix that in our corn salad. And like the onion, that just gives it a little bit more color.
It's pretty. It looks tasty too.
Some people, I guess you think it might sound silly to say a dish looks pretty, but think about when you eat. You definitely want to eat the things that look more appetizing, and the different colors appeal to our eyes. So
Exactly. It does make a difference. I mean, I love chicken and pork, and I love potatoes, you know, but when you just put that stuff on a plate,
Right.
it's all white. It's like you need something else on there.
A little bit of color. And those colorful fruits and vegetables are really good for us with the different vitamins and nutrients that they have in them.
So this is the fresh corn
This is
salad,
fresh corn salad.
and you can get the recipe from the extension offices. And it makes a lot.
It does. It does. It makes a lot. With a few ingredients, you can have a large dish.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
So check out the fresh corn salad. Get your recipe at KentuckyProud.com
Or any of the extension
or any of the
offices.
extension offices. I've been talking with Lizzie Spalding at the Marion County Extension Office, Gary White for Central Kentucky Television.